Hi, good evening. My name is Melvin Bailey, Executive Director of Community Male Empowerment Project.
And I'm Chris Anthony. I'm part of Community Male Empowerment Project.
So today's topic, as you can see, I put the shirt on, Don't Kill Me. If you can see it, at the bottom of it, it says, Don't Kill Me, I'm the Future. So today's topic, that what we're going to discuss today is, since we have a right now problem, we need right now solutions. So when Chris started reading off some of the statistics, I'm going to come in with some solutions that we really need to start pounding the pavement as a unit to tell the city these are opportunities for us right now. And then later on, maybe in the show next week, I'm going to have some actual numbers of how many construction sites that's going on in our community, like $1 billion O'Hare expansion. Then you got another $1 billion going to be pumped into the post office. So again, we're going to talk about right now problems for right now solution.
Right, solutions to this gun violence, we have to come together, we have to unite as Chicagoans to figure this thing out. It's an epidemic and it's very difficult to describe. Chicago has faced something that is dramatic. No city over the past 25 years has felt such an increase in homicides as we did the past year. And so it really kind of lets you know, well, what are some solutions, or what can there be done to really help curb this? Some may think a crackdown on criminals may be advantageous, restoring police morale, or improving officer training. These are just a couple things that individuals have proposed and put together, but we want to share with you today real solutions on what we think is valuable. Melvin actually has a couple different suggestions that we have learned about and that have shared with others, but we kind of want to bring you just a little bit here of what we can share with you today.
Correct. So what we're going to share with you guys today is the city of Chicago. They have several different agencies, and it's this whole city. They have contracts that we should be able to take advantage of. Like prime example, the city of Chicago have janitorial service. Each city's facility need janitorial. So we're going to talk about some opportunities just right now. Each city facility, when I say city services and they sister agents, we're talking about CTA, we're talking about RTA, we're talking about the schools, we're talking about aviation, which is OR and Midway. You mean to tell me with all these agencies that they have out there, we cannot create opportunity for the hardest to serve and disenfranchised people? I know we can if we put enough pressure on our aldermen and our elected officials to say this is what we need in our community to reduce some of this violence. Because the violence is just have to stop. And I'm going to share this story with you, and it breaks my heart every time I hear about a story just like the two 11-year-olds got shot. It really breaks my heart that these two 11-year-old babies haven't got a chance to live their life without these guys picking up these guns and shooting these weapons. And so that really breaks our heart when we talk about babies. And then I talked to another dear friend of mine. She shared with me that her daughter got killed several years ago, and she actually see the shooter, talk to the shooter, and asked him when he gonna turn himself in. This young man tell her, man, I still got my gun with me. So that type of behavior we really need to look into. But there's some mental issue as well when a young man will say that out of his mouth after he shot a mother and her, and the baby, and killed her. So it really breaks my heart to hear that, and that's what we have to do. And some of the right now solutions to these right now problems is that, real briefly, and I show you guys this, and I'm gonna keep showing it to you. Here's a book. Here's a book, and as you just be patient, it should start zooming in. There we go. One more zoom. Let me see, can I get you guys to really see this? Now look, again, these are some right now, look at this. Let's go down. You're talking about right here. Janitorial, comprehensive janitorial service. We got $20 million. Then you have another comprehensive janitorial service. Now these clean up city facilities, you see on the side of it, it say fleet management, fleet and facility management. And then up top right here, we got unarmed security service. which is a $10 million contract. So far, we're looking at 20, 40, $50 million worth of city contracts. We know we can change some lives, but if we go down the line, and I want us to continue looking at this book, continue looking at the services that we can provide for the city, and I mean, this book go on and on and on, where they hide the contracts in plain sight. And these something that we can do to take these, to change the mindset of these young men. And then we can flip over to the next page. As you can see, they got towing services. They got towing services here. You know, that's a $2 million contract. Then you got car sharing, parking service, $10 million, which is right here. Then you have leasing of automobiles and light vehicles. That's a $20 million contract. So are you with me so far on how the opportunity that, you know, listen, let's look at this real quick now. I want y'all to see. As you can see, I'm not telling the story. Here's the book. This comes from the city of Chicago and its sister agencies. There you go, county, state, and all of the contracts are in this book, and we have to band together. We have to band together to talk to the city and talk to everyone to let them know we need these contracts in our community so we can reduce some of this violence. Let's give these kids an opportunity. Let's give them a chance to work. And if they continue with that negative behavior that is not the norm for our community, then of course they always have a place for you, which is prison. But for right now, I don't think we're going to police our way out of this right now. And then I believe Chris pulled some information up talking about the mandatory minimum sentence when a person get caught with a weapon. But obviously, that's not deterring them.
Yeah,
that's not deterring them.
So fact, did you know that if you shoot and kill someone with a firearm, it's a minimum of 45 years in prison? So that means if you're a 20-year-old and you get convicted of killing someone, the earliest you'll be able to be available for parole is when you're 65. So when I hear people say, okay, we got to make tougher gun laws, I think that's kind of tough. It didn't necessarily stop the 3,000 or so shootings that happened in 2016.
Correct.
Another suggestion here that has been brought up is, okay, well, what if we were to add more police to the actual, to the field and to, policing the communities? Well, does that really solve a problem? Does putting more officers in really curb the solution of that? I think it's important that we have proactive police versus reactive police. We always try to take time for a caller that we have coming in. If you have any calls, please give us a call. You can reach us at 312-738-1060. But we want to bring in our first caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, gentlemen. My name is Ray. I'm from Chicago.
Welcome to the show, Ray.
Let me see something. I go out of town every once in a while. I see everything going up in the high in the sky. Not one black, not one Hispanic construction company are on there. Why? And I don't blame the city. You know what I blame? I blame us. We're the ones who go every 4 years, listen to their stuff, they give us $10, and boom, vote for them. So, right now, I have no sympathy. But I see my fellow VA vets.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts me. I see them on the streets now, And
that's true.
We gave, well, I did in Vietnam, but now these young kids now gave their best and ended on the street.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when something else is going up, Ron Manuel's there shoveling. He's out there breaking stuff. So guess what? He's not breaking nothing for the VA, for the veterans. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. So, I heard you say you're a veteran, but I'd like to say thank you first for your service. Thank you for your service as a veteran. And I know you had a comment behind that, and I want to speak to that as well. Go ahead. You have a comment?
No, go ahead. You first.
Okay, well, yeah, and it is our fault, caller, because when I say it's our fault, because we have to hold our elected officials accountable. We have to. We cannot continue going down the same old path. And you know, and I like a lot of elected officials. I know them, but personally, man, I don't see. I got to talk to them. I'm trying to be subtle, but at this point, I can't be subtle with them when you have so much violence in our community. I got to be tough on them, and I got to be hard on them because something has to change. We cannot let them keep getting away with this. They cannot get away with it.
And we do have to obviously hold ourselves accountable. I mean, we are in an era right now where, our energy we put in is the energy we get back. So whether that's positive on positive or negative on negative. And so I do believe that we have to focus on getting the mindset properly, starting that out at a high level than what it is. It's about getting at-risk youth involved in different mentor or treatment facilities where now they can get the mental help or support they need or have programs to develop themselves versus just standing on the street. It seems like standing on the street is the new thing these days, and at some point we have to eliminate that. We have to get rid of that, okay? We have to figure out how can we get more people involved by just talking to our local government officials and also talking to people in the community. Our business owners, they need to be involved. Our religious leaders, we get them involved. So yeah, caller, we want you to continue to call in. We want to hear more feedback like this, and it does put us right back in our hands. But this is why we're here giving a dialogue now to let you know we're going to speak for you, because we also have to have just as much energy coming from our city and from our municipality to help and empower us.
Correct. And I want to say to our listeners is this. I want us to, we need that millennial group to come aboard. We need everybody to get off the sideline because reason why I say that is this. Because we've been getting the same old results for the same, they say, how can you keep putting folks in office and expect different results? You can't do it. So we looked as if we have to start replacing our elected officials. It's sad to say we have to do it. We have to replace some of these elected officials to put some people in there that's going to be boisterous, that's going to take our voice and say, man, enough is enough. We cannot have our community continue looking like this. But one thing I know for sure, they gentrifying out our neighborhood. It's all by design. It's by gentrification. As you look at the development, they develop all up north. They develop downtown. As you can know, that money starts creeping towards the west side. So that means gentrification is coming. So, and I understand the big picture is that they love a lot of this violence to go on. When I say the powers that be, I'm just gonna call it like it is. The powers that be, because that's a way of pushing the disenfranchised and the hardest to serve people out of the community. Because once they start pushing them out, now they can come in with that new development. It's like history repeating itself, because look at what happened to Ida B. Wells. Look what happened to Henry Horner. Look what happened to Rockwell. See what happened?
Well, look how long the Laquan McDonald case took to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another example, too, of saying, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long in order just to hear a certain, a voice? And so that's why we have to start pushing and fighting for community issues that are even such small things such as housing that we may overlook and take for granted, or just voting.
Yeah.
You have to get out there. You have to know your rights. You have to enforce your rights that you do have. You have to utilize it.
That's true. And I say all the time that our elected officials, they cater to the seniors. But now you hear the youth. You hear this next generation. Bad or good, you hear them, and it's all bad. And they let you know with this bad behavior, they need some help. They need some help. So it's no longer catering to the seniors, going get the bus for the seniors, getting the turkeys for the seniors. No, we got to cater to that generation. That generation that's hard to serve, the X generation, the generation that people that really don't want to talk to. We don't want to, a lot of times we deal with the generation that's in school, in college, but the kids that's on the corner and on the block, we ride past them. We don't want to deal with them.
They feel like there's no hope.
They feel
like there's no self-development. They feel like they're self-destructing in a way.
Right.
Without saying it.
That's right. That's right. So that's why we're here on this show, a Community Male Empowerment Project. You can reach us at 312-738-1060. And as you can see, the topic of the headline is community development and awareness. Because we have to be aware of what's going on in our community. Man, we have to come together and I understand the problem. We've been lulled to sleep. They tricked us. I'm going to be honest with you. They tricked us. Because a lot of them tricked me too. I'm like, ooh, man, we got an alderman, we got elected officials there. They're going to stand with us. They're going to help us. We're going to make sure that we can provide, we can create some jobs, better schooling, better education, better economic development, better social programs, the whole social aspect of economic development. Man, so far they got a failing grade. And I'm going to be honest, they have a failing grade in my book.
Yeah, I just only ask that, everyone that we see that is, at risk, that we give them the dignity to say, okay, hey, let's try to figure out a solution. Let's try to figure out a problem. These guys are babies shooting babies,
Yes.
as the theme has been said here on the show in the past, and it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad. We have to say something. We have to bring it to the light. Please call in if you have any questions or suggestions. Please use this as your conduit for, how you feel. 312-738-1060. If you want to come to our website, feel free to touch base with us there at cmepprojects.org. We're definitely taking in your questions and comments.
And then what we're going to do before the show is over, we've been going back and forth with the city. It's kind of like a tug of war with the cities and the powers that be. But we're going to come with y'all. We're going to come with the viewers. We're going to come with some actual footage of what we're doing in the community. As one of the meetings that we host, showing young men working on sites that we have, that we're promoting, that we're funding. And we feel this is the best way to make sure that their mindset is on the right thing when you employ them and keep them engaged, and most definitely pay them. That's the key. They have to get paid for their services. So what we're trying to do now is to make sure that we can provide the right services for the young men to make sure they get paid. So in the near future, before the program is over, we praying and hoping that we get our projects off the ground so you guys can see hands-on that we're not talking. We're actually putting talk into action.
Correct.
We want to make sure our talk is we're started. A lot of folks on the sidelines talking and tweeting what's going on, but we want to make sure we put our talk into action so you can see, and then that we can make sure that the following that we have, we're doers and not just talkers.
Right. So, just going back to putting, something in their pocket, we have job readiness programs available that we can pair you up with. If it's an internship you may be looking for, we can definitely help you out with that. Like I said, please feel free. If you know somebody, or if you may need to at least get some guidance, please, work with us. We are all about the community, and that's why we're here. Melvin, just kind of taking us into the last segment of the show here, we always know that, it's so easy just to, add or do something without really coming and talking to the grassroots people. It's so easy to, make a shot or a decision from the boardroom. How can Chicago, how can the city take another step, a positive step in moving forward with the community?
What the city have to do is this, and from my experience of dealing with the city, talking to a lot of city officials, well, the aldermen are there. The aldermen, they in the community, they out there. But we need to actually city officials who making decisions from the Department of Planning, all these different department heads. We need them to actually walk the street with us and talk to the young men, along with the aldermen. The aldermen can do so much, but the people who's pushing the budgets down at the city, that's what we need. Need the mayor to come out, actually start shaking hands with these young men, and then stop sitting high, looking low. That's the problem, because if you don't have the alphabets by your name, when I say the PhD, the MBE, the ABA, people tends to look at people less fortunate without without the education that the other people have, they kind of look at them like, I don't want to talk to them peasants. They peasants. Because I got a degree. I went to college for 4 years. Oh, I went to Brainwash University. And I don't want to talk to them because they're bums on the street. That's the wrong attitude to have. How are we gonna help each other? And then the crazy, and it's not the crazy part about it, but a lot of the people who's in a position like the Department of Planning and all them other agencies, your job is to help the community.
Okay.
That's what this whole infrastructure is, to help the community.
I can only imagine how many of us may not have known about, the buying plan for the city for the next 5 years. I hope that at least this gave you a little bit more insight into where the city's looking to spend their dollars at. I mean, if you're trying to do anything right now, today is a great day to start. Start a business. Start something of empowerment for yourself. Go back to school. Pick up a trade. Connect and network with somebody that can make you and your circle stronger. Because it's all about making a big step in 2017.
Correct. Because when we come to you with the actual footage of you seeing young men changing their life, and you will hear, hopefully that we have the microphone hooked up, you will hear us constantly letting the young men know that being a laborer, you can't stop there. You have to pick up the trade and the skill to move forward. And another thing that the goal we're trying to achieve is this. After we get the young men and the women into the program, we want to let them know there's other opportunities for them. So that's why we're partnering up with we're going to partner up with Malcolm X, Kennedy King,
Robert Morris,
yeah, all the local city colleges, so to let them know there's other outlets. And then we want to partner up with other employers that looking to employ them. But what we're doing is this: we're deprogramming you before you go to the next phase. We do not want to send you out
unprepared.
That's correct. We don't want to send you to the next phase, because that's a reflection on us. That seems as if we haven't done our job. We cannot send you out there to the next phase, like Chris said, unprepared, not knowing what to do and know how to speak in the work environment.
It's critical these days to empower yourself, to learn how to get ahead, because if you don't, then you may get left behind. It's kind of like technology. Technology will always evolve. It will always change. At some point, you and I will probably need a new cell phone before the show's over with. But it's just to show and say that we need to, be more open-minded, more respectful for each other, and understand that there is a common goal, and we have to look past the smaller things that keep us from that. I'm Chris Anthony, Melvin Bailey here.
Right.
I love being on the show here. This is a little personal time for me. I know we've wrapped out a few of them so far this season, but we really want you guys to feel free on calling us or coming down. We want to be able to answer any questions you have. If you have any issues on, housing issues where you're behind, on taxes or issues or questions that you didn't think that, hey, I would have to pay to get advice, please call us. We're here to help. Okay, if you know somebody's doing the wrong thing, you feel like, hey, they may not be contributing, properly, let us know. We know so many people in the social services, arena that can at least get them help or put them in tune with someone that can bridge them to that.
Correct. And then we have attorneys. We're going to talk to one of the attorneys on board. Hopefully, he just called before the show aired. He would like to come on to talk about his expertise and how he can help as an attorney. Because we all need legal advice when it comes to business and every aspect of our life, to make sure that we get going in the right direction with legal advice.
And credit repair. Don't forget about that too. If you have any issues or blemishes, everybody can always work on something. We're going to have a credit repair specialist in. We're going to have a couple attorneys to come by, educate you as well. We're going to have a few more business like-minded entrepreneurs coming in. So there's a lot of good stuff that we have coming up in the next couple weeks. Next week we'll be off. It'll be President's Day, but we'll be returning the following week. We hope that you guys can join us for our next episode.
All right, thank you, and peace.